Beans and Bear learn what to do when a friend is unkind to you. Written and illustrated by Sarah Pekaski. This story is dedicated to my Joey Bear and Jessie Beans. There once were two brothers from I know not where. One brother was taller and one had long hair. The small one was Beans and his brother was Bear, and this is the story they want to share about knowing both sides before judging what's fair. One lovely day in the earliest spring, the boys were quite busy sorting and packing. They carefully picked out which toys they would bring before they packed up and stored away most of their things. Then they boxed all their books and in bins went their toys, along with 6 boxes of clothing for boys. Next they got a big truck and in went their stuff. Trying to make it all fit was a job that was tough. So they left it for Dad because he's big and he's strong. Dad got the job done and it didn't take long. After their stuff was all stored away, they still needed to find somewhere they could stay. But no one had beds for a family of 4, so that night they slept on Tribble's hard floor. The next day, Bear wasn't feeling so well. But at least for one night they got a hotel. Then finally something went right the next day. In answer to prayers, they had somewhere to stay. So they said goodbye to I know not where and headed off to the land of nothing out there. A faraway land filled with big factories, and right smack dab in the middle of these stood one little house and a couple of trees. That is where Curly lived with her son Thunder, plus Budden, Gramps, and Drona down under. Plus a cat and a dog, which makes you wonder just how they could fit even one more, never mind plus 1, 2, 3, and 4. But they made it work. They found a way so that everyone had a place they could stay, and Thunder and Bear and Beans got to play. And things were all good, well, at least the first day. But when you're used to doing things a certain way, it's hard to, well, compromise, as Mama would say. See, Thunder had toys, but he didn't always share, and when he did, it was only with Bear. So Beans would get upset a lot, and that is something we'd just rather not. It was as if the both of them suddenly forgot all of the manners they'd ever been taught. Instead, the 3 of them constantly fought, which made Curly mad and Mama distraught, a word which means stressed a lot. She begged and pleaded, please get along. It doesn't matter who's in the wrong. It's not your house, it's not your toys. What on earth is wrong with you boys? Then she stopped, her face changed. She looked more like their mama again. I'm sorry, she said, with love in her eyes. I know this must be hard on you guys. Her words caught Beans and Bear by surprise. You are somewhere new without your stuff, and you can't be yourselves. That must be quite rough. And although it doesn't seem to be fair, it's because you're only thinking about Beans and Bear. Look at poor Thunder sitting over there. Did anyone ask him if he wanted to share? His toys, his books, you just assume. Do you think he chose to give up his room? Think about it. Put yourselves in his place. How would you feel in his case if 2 kids suddenly invaded your space? And what you were used to all suddenly changed if your bedtime routine was all rearranged and the dinners you liked replaced with food you found strange? Wouldn't you feel as if you'd been shortchanged? It's not fair to judge when you don't know the facts. There's always some reason for the way someone acts. So unless you can know what they're going through, you won't know why they act how they do. So they went and found Thunder lying down on his bed, and they thought about what their mama just said.
Sorry,
Said Bear.
we took over your room and that we like different food and watch different cartoons. And also,
Added Beans.
I kinda popped your balloons. It must be hard to have us always be here. I bet you wish we'd just disappear.
Actually,
Said Thunder.
it's not so bad. In fact, I'm actually kind of glad. See, before I was always on my own, and it's not much fun to play alone. So I'm sorry for not being nice to you. From now on, my house is your house too.
And that is the reason that Beans and Bear chose this as the story that they want to share, so that you can know exactly what to do when someone is acting unkind to you. Now listen carefully, I'll say it again quick. In case you missed it, here's the trick to deal with someone when they're being a... Tell them you're sorry to hear that they've had a bad day and you hope things get better, then make sure to say that if you were them, you'd feel the same way. You can let them know you have an ear to lend if they need to talk because you are their friend. But make sure to listen and not just pretend. Now that everyone's happy, story's over, the end.